Good morning. You're getting a rare car video from me today because I get to sit over an hour in traffic each way for my destination today, and so I've got time. And the reason that I'm sitting an hour in traffic each way through Seattle today is that my doctor and I have been spending a lot of time lately untangling the issues that a fat-phobic previous doctor imposed on me due to my fatness. And lied to me about it. So basically, I've been on some medications that I didn't actually need for a decade, because my doctor that I had at the time a decade ago, I guess was punishing me for being fat because I did not need these medications, and these medications had nasty side effects that she didn't bother to tell me about. This was also a doctor that didn't like to touch me. She was so disgusted by my body, and so there was definitely some malicious intent here. I'm not going to argue about it. Don't at me. I know my lived experience better than you do. And so we've been spending a lot of time untangling whether I actually need these medications and getting me off of them so that I can stop suffering from the side effects that are pretty nasty. And, you know, when I thought about making this video, I was going to tell you all the details. But you know what? I'm so tired of fat people having to divulge our entire life history and trauma and medical history to be seen as worthy of not being abused and not being oppressed or marginalized. And so, you know what? You don't get to find out. You're just going to have to take my word for it, because we believe people who are not in marginalized bodies when they talk about their experiences. And so you get to, you know, believe me without hearing all the details. So at any rate, because I have time today, I want to address this thing I keep getting in comments that's really distressing. When I talk about fat phobia and oppression of fat people, I constantly have thin people coming in to tell me that I'm mean. And, you know, it really sucks because, you know, there's a human being behind these posts. Hi, I'm Lindley. I exist. And I'm inherently a really nice person. My feelings sit at the top of my, at the top of my skin. I like to make people happy. I do not like to hurt people's feelings. I do not like to make people unhappy or sad or angry or stressed. I inherently don't like conflict. I'm a very gentle person. I would much rather, we all spend all the time hugging each other and singing together and generally being happy humanity together than I would have conflict. But here I am because I discovered that the truth about bodies and the truth about oppression and the truth about fatness and weight, I don't have any choice but to speak out, because when I speak out, then people tell me that I make them unhappy. But what really is unhappy making is being discriminated against for your size. What really should be making people unhappy is that fat people are being lied to by their doctors.
Take the I-405
I don't know if you can hear my navigation. If you can, sorry. But, that should be making you unhappy, not the fact that I'm pointing out that it's not all about you all the time. And, and I am mad this morning because, I'm driving an hour to see a primary care doctor when I live in a major metro area. It's because there are exactly 4 doctors in this metro area. And to have 4 in Seattle, we are very lucky. There are exactly 4 doctors total, period, in the Seattle metro area that fat people can trust to treat them in a weight-neutral manner. And not to lie to them or abuse them. And one of those folks is currently on leave. One of them I don't know. Which is fine. It's just that I have not interacted with her. One of them is in an area that's hard for me to physically access and is in a modality that's not quite what I need right now. And one of them is a personal friend. I would feel really weird about having a personal friend also be my primary care doctor. And that's it. That's it. And of course, because there are only 4 of them, they're all constantly booked out for months too.
I-405 north exit on the left.
So, that is just speaking to oppression right there. There are only a few doctors in a major city in the United States that I can trust not to abuse me. So when thin people are constantly coming at me about, you hurt my feelings by talking about oppression, you know what? What should hurt your feelings is that fat people are being treated the way they are. So, and this happens a lot on clothing posts for whatever reason. People want to get real hurt about me talking about clothing because for some reason it brings out this fragility dynamic where thin people want to tell me that I'm being mean to them. And I'm going through a tunnel right now. That's why I look weird. But, thin people want to tell me all about how mean I am by pointing out that they have more clothing options than I do. And I'm trying not to get run over by a truck. Do you mind? Please stay in your own lane. Inevitably, every time I talk about thin privilege, some thin person wants to at me about how the real problem is the way that they get teased for being thin or some kind of individual experience. Or how they have problems finding clothing too. But you know what? When I talk about having problems finding clothing, it's not equivalent to you having problems finding clothing as a thin person. You might have to go to a few different stores to find a bra you like. There are no stores, including specialty bra stores, that carry bras in my size. There are not. And no, I'm not going to tell you my bra size so that you can argue with me. You can just, believe my lived experience. There aren't stores that carry a wide array of clothing for me. I don't have options. And so, when we talk about thin privilege and thin people are constantly coming at me about, well, I had this one experience that was really terrible one time. You know what? You don't have doctors trying to erase you by any means necessary. You have clothing options in store. You have options. You have all these things that we don't. And constantly coming in and centering yourselves and then calling me a mean, bad person for making you uncomfortable by talking about oppression. Like, what is that? Get over it. I spend so much time coddling the thin people's feelings. And you know what? You're not driving an hour to the one doctor that you think might not abuse you today. So, okay. So, like I said, I spend a lot of time being very careful about my wording. So to do the least, to hurt the fewest feelings possible. And clearly I'm losing my filters today, and because I'm upset about it, because here I am, driving to the doctor. But look, okay, so when you have a fragility response, when you read about oppression and it makes you uncomfortable, it's really easy to subsume that dynamic, that discomfort into, well, I'm important too. My experience as a thinner or less fat person are important too. My struggles are valid too. And the thing is that fat activists are not ever telling you that your experience is invalid. What would that even mean? That you somehow didn't have the life experiences that you'd had? Nobody is saying that. What we're saying is that, yes, everybody has struggles, but fat people have size-based and weight-based oppression on top of those struggles. So when you as a thin person talk about all these struggles that you've had, fat people have those same struggles, and we get discriminated against, and we're underpaid, and we're universally loathed. And we have all these extra oppressive dynamics that we experience that you don't. And you have to understand that if you are going to help end our oppression, if you're going to be on the side of good here, you got to get past that fragility response, because I cannot spend all my time managing you and reassuring you that yes, you too are valid. Yes, obviously you're valid. The whole world is telling you you're valid, and the people who aren't telling you you're valid are making money off you thinking that you're not valid. But, fat activists are not telling you that your experiences don't count. And so when you dump that fragility back on us, you're just furthering that oppression, because, you're elevating your individual experiences to be the same as systemic oppression, and that's just not how it works. And you know, I hate hurting people's feelings. I hate making people uncomfortable, but it is more important that we all work to end oppression, and that we all work to, you know, to end this discrimination, and you know, and so that fat people have the same opportunities and the same chances for joy and the same you know, the same ability to participate equally in society as thin people. That is more important than your momentary discomfort about learning about oppression. So, you know, stop imposing that on fat people. You know, not only do you or do you hold the power in this system, but then you force us to constantly coddle your feelings about maybe feeling momentarily uncomfortable, that you hold the power. Like, what is this? Stop it.
Use the right 2 lanes to take
You know,
exit 2C for I-5 North.
You have got to stop doing this, because, you know, it's concern trolling. It's not okay. Stop. Because with all this effort that you are spending telling me about how mean I am for making you uncomfortable, for making you sad, that, you know, that you have privileges that I don't. How dare I point that out? With all that energy, what could you be doing to end it? To extend those privileges to everybody? You know, you have the power here, socially, politically, from a power standpoint, from a cultural standpoint. Like, you know, don't force fat people to spend the little bit of time and energy that we have left making you feel better about being in the oppressor population. Just, you know, lay off. Because that, and to come back to that discomfort, other than telling you not to impose that on fat people, beyond that discomfort is a really important marker, because you should be uncomfortable. You should be uncomfortable that people who aren't you are being treated badly. You should be uncomfortable that you have unearned privileges. And I'm not saying that I'm not calling you a bad person. I'm not saying that you're a terrible person. I'm saying that you should be uncomfortable, because discomfort is how we grow and learn and change. And so take that discomfort and sit with it and figure out why you're uncomfortable. And then, you know, grow the hell up. Because fat people can't do your inner work for you. And this is your brain telling you that you need to grow and change. That's what that discomfort is about. So, you know, capitalize on that and learn from it and grow from it. And stop making fat people bear that burden for you.